Welcome to Keep Heading East. I'm Murray from the YSE Cookery School. If you're joining us again, then welcome back. And if you're joining this series for the first time, you've joined us in Thailand. You can check out the main introduction to this series by clicking the on-screen link in the cards, or follow the link in the description and download our free PDF cookbook with all the dishes that we'll be cooking in this series. Or if you prefer a printed version, then there's one available as well. Now, perhaps one of the more commonly known Asian cuisines in the West, Thai food is pretty popular for its fresh, light, but really bold flavours. Where most countries focus on the 4 or 5 flavours, saltiness, sweetness, sourness, bitterness and savoury, Thai cuisine replaces the bitterness with spiciness. But the level of spiciness, once again, depends on the region, as the food varies hugely from region to region in Thailand. You can divide Thailand up into 4 different food regions. Northern Thai cuisine is heavily influenced by Burmese cuisine, and the use of a wide variety of exotic herbs makes the food one of the most interesting parts of Thailand. Northern Thai food has less spice compared to other parts. It offers a variety of dishes that most foreigners love, with Koh Sai the most popular by far. It's a specialty of Chiang Mai. It's a creamy, spicy, sweet broth made from chicken and served over boiled egg noodles and garnished with crunchy fried noodles. Then there's Northeastern Thai cuisine, or Isan cuisine. Probably the most authentic, as it's the most popular food among the Thai. These dishes are loaded with herbs, chilies, garlic and raw veggies. You might find the flavours a bit overwhelming to start with, but once you get used to the sour and the spice, you really can't live without it. It's really, it's not for the faint-hearted, but it's the most pure Thai food. The most popular dish in this region would be som tam, or green papaya salad. And it's exactly what Northeastern Thai cuisine is all about, the sour and the spice. And I've left the recipe in our Keep Heading East cookbook this week. Now, Central Thai cuisine is the most common, and it's the dishes that tend to stretch right across Thailand. And these are the more internationally known dishes that we associate with Thailand. Now, the Chinese have had a big influence on this food region, stemming from the Chinese merchants who settled in Bangkok in the 18th century. This influence is really significant, and it can be found right throughout central Thailand. It's generally less spicy, and so it's a bit easier for the average tourist to cope with. Pad Thai is a really good example of a dish that's pretty internationally renowned, and we've got our own video on how to make Pad Thai, which I'll leave in the end cards in a moment. Now, then there's Southern Thai cuisine. Southern Thai cuisine's really heavily influenced by Malaysian food, so it offers more curry dishes than anywhere else in Thailand. The Malay-derived curries are sort of less spicy, but the locals have created their own versions that are actually some of the spiciest in the country, especially Panang curry and a Masamang curry. They're hugely popular among foreigners. These dishes are relatively easy to eat. If you'd like to try one of these more authentic curries, I've linked to a video that gives a really clear rundown on a Beef Panang, so maybe that's something for the weekend. Now, in addition to all of this, there's Royal Thai cuisine, and that's Thai cuisine that's designed for royals and for the palace. It's often the case in Asian cuisines, actually. These are all of the same Thai dishes, they're just a lot more refined. For example, fish and meat is always served without the bones. And the freshest ingredients are always selected, and the presentation of the dishes is really a long way from a rustic style that you might usually find right across Thailand. There's often a focus on hand-carved fruits and vegetables and really intricate presentation. Royal Thai cuisine is also designed to suit a big range of palates, so there's never anything that's sort of too extreme when it comes to saltiness or spice, because it needs to suit a big range of guests. Now, there's a few staple Thai ingredients that come as standard on a Thai kitchen shelf. Fish sauce, which is a really thin fermented sauce made from dried fish or anchovies or sometimes even shrimps. The Thais use loads of it to add saltiness to a dish in places the salt like we'd use in the West. Palm sugar is a raw and really sweet sugar for balancing out the sour. And the lime juice, you'd use the juice for the sour, or whole limes for the bitterness from the pith, and kaffir lime leaves as well. chili, and in particular dried chili for the heat. It's pretty common actually to find more chili flakes served in a side dish on the dinner table instead of the black pepper that you might find in a grinder on a Western dinner table. Along with loads of other fresh flavours like lemongrass, coriander, garlic, ginger, etc. Now, if you'd like to dig a little deeper into authentic Thai cuisine, I suggest you take a look at an author called David Thompson. For us, he's the absolute authority on Thai food, and he's massively strict and authentic about it. So worth a look if you get the chance. So that's it for this stop on our Keep Heading East tour of global cuisine. I hope you've enjoyed it. Links are on screen now for the videos I mentioned earlier if you'd like to see a little more from the region. And remember, for our subscribers, there's a fantastic cookbook to accompany this series. So if you haven't already, hit subscribe and grab yourself a free PDF copy of our cookbook, or if you prefer a hard copy, the links are there as well. Thanks for watching. See you soon.